I'm sorry, but this was too good to pass up.
You're a fucking idiot.
Ah, yes, friends. Prequel hate is still alive and well, and today's freshest batch comes from staff writer at Time Magazine, Eliana Doctorman. Who's Eliana Doctorman, you might ask?
Who are you?
When she's not writing gangbuster Star Wars articles, she likes to dabble in a spoiler-filled breakdown of Downton Abbey. How Downton Abbey, a new era, fits in the show's timeline. 9 podcasts that were turned into TV shows. Riveting stuff, Eliana. But we're not here to talk about her shit takes. I mean, Pulitzer Prize-winning articles. What we're here to look at today is an article she wrote called "It's Time to Forgive Hayden Christensen for the Star Wars Prequels." The article begins with, when Lucasfilm announced that Hayden Christensen would don the Darth Vader suit to reprise his role as Anakin Skywalker opposite Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi, Star Wars diehards met the news with joy. Casual Star Wars fans may find this confusing. Weren't the prequel movies awful? Weren't all those bits about the Galactic Senate rather dull, and Jar Jar Binks the absolute worst creation to ever grace the screen? Wasn't Christensen the most maligned actor in the much-hated series? Girl, what you been smoking? Well, yes, the movies were terrible. So terrible that Harrison Ford didn't even want to acknowledge their existence when he sat down with Time for an interview about the legacy of the franchise. But lately, a vocal subset of Star Wars fans has set out to reclaim these movies as decent, if not quite good. In doing so, they've paved the way for Christensen to come back. Let's go, prequel fans. The newfound goodwill comes mainly from millennials and Gen Zers who watched the prequels as kids before they could scrutinize the films through a critical lens. The gratuitous CGI creatures that irked adults delighted children. Nearly 2 decades later, the affection lingers. In the same way that I think Space Jam is a perfect movie, even though it's objectively a bad film. Plenty of friends and colleagues will happily rewatch the Star Wars prequels over and over again, ironically or sincere. However, Time's Richard Corliss was an early defender of the prequels. When Attack of the Clones premiered in 2002, he wrote, "Like the army of clones deployed in Episode 2, a gaggle of critics has already spread the news that the picture stinks. It doesn't. It's gorgeously designed and color coordinated. The god who created this galaxy was working from a very rich palette." A man of culture, I see. She continues on to say, "Lucas handed the heartthrob, clunky dialogue and asked him to act opposite far too many CGI creatures. Christensen tried to conjure an edgy Hamlet in space. Instead, he manifested a whiny brat." Both McGregor and Christensen appear to be acutely aware of the deleterious, that's a big word for you, effect the prequels had on Christensen's career. Much of the press tour for Obi-Wan Kenobi has centered on the reclamation of the prequels and Anakin in particular. "I found it quite hard," McGregor told Entertainment Weekly of the reaction to the prequels. "For it to come out and get knocked so hard was personally quite difficult to deal with, because of people like you." He went on to say, "The tides are turning. Now I meet the people we made those films for who were kids at the time, and our Star Wars films are their Star Wars films. In the way that Carrie Fisher and Alec Guinness and Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford's films were ours, we're theirs. And that's just beautiful that they were important to the kids who we made them for. It's just so nice to finally get that wave of positivity about them." Fandoms are rarely so forgiving. The more toxic corners of the Star Wars fandom have driven out other Star Wars actors like Kelly Marie Tran and Daisy Ridley off social media, not even for the sin of being poor actors, but for merely existing as female heroes in a film. Stay with me here because everybody's favorite checkmark words are coming. Christensen is notably a white man and thus representative of a demographic that's disproportionately granted second chances. Maybe the Star Wars fandom can extend the generosity they've offered to Christensen to other actors in the franchise. Hopefully, it won't take them 17 years. Could you be more dull of a fucking human being? Does anyone else find it kind of ironic and hilarious that she took the time to write this entire article ripping on someone and then turns around and at the end says, "By the way, we shouldn't be doing this"? Look, I understand that not everybody loves the prequels the way that I love the prequels, and I get that. They were a big direction change for George Lucas from the original trilogy, and I think a lot of people were expecting something different, for sure. But when you come back and you say something stupid like this for the world to see, you know I'm gonna put you on blast. What are you gonna do? This is X-Wing, signing out. I'll see you guys later.